3 ways public school fosters socialism and communism.
Yes, freeze!
Before I get into how school fosters socialism and communism, I need to explain the basics of socialism and communism so that the connection can be made. The basic thrust of socialism is the idea that businesses should be worker-owned. That is, all business activity should be controlled through democratic means by all employed persons, not just by a founder, CEO, or board of directors. This mission is taken on through the lens of eliminating hierarchy. That is, the control of others through a leader who has the ultimate decision rights over the business direction and capital. While this may not be unethical if formed through consent, socialists wish to implement these changes by force, as they see current structural injustice in capital ownership where some people are benefited from past bad acts like slavery, government cronyism, and violent takings. While socialists do have some valid critiques about past evils like slavery and state cronyism, socialists do not make any distinction between those who have capital due to violence and those who got their capital through hard work, personal savings, and voluntary trade. Socialists desire to use the power of the state to redistribute control of business through either government management of pay and roles or through wholesale government nationalization of industry, where public voting is seen as the decentralization of business control. Communists often advocate for these same ideals, but in addition, reject both money and the state, ultimately in worker ownership. Communists also reject all forms of individual savings, as each person is only permitted what they need and nothing more. To see how socialists and communists wish to achieve their utopias, look at Karl Marx's 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto. Marx wrote, and I quote, "The proletariat will use its political supremacy to wrest by degree all capital from the bourgeoisie, to centralize all instruments of production in the hands of the state, i.e. of the proletariat organized as the ruling class, and to increase the total productive forces as rapidly as possible." Marx continued with his 10 planks as follows. Number 1. Abolition of property in land and application of all rents of land to public purposes. Number 2. A heavy progressive or graduated income tax. Number 3. Abolition of all rights of inheritance. Number 4. Confiscation of the property of all emigrants and rebels. Number 5. Centralization of credit in the hands of the state by means of a national bank with state capital and an exclusive monopoly. Number 6. Centralization of the means of communication and transport in the hands of the state. Number 7. Extension of factories and instruments of production owned by the state, the bringing into cultivation of wastelands, and the improvement of the soil generally in accordance with the common plan. Number 8. Equal liability of all to work, establishment of industrial armies, especially for agriculture. Number 9. Combination of agriculture with manufacturing industries, gradual abolition of all the distinction between town and country by a more equitable distribution of the populace over the country. And, pertinent for this topic, number 10. Free education for all children in public schools, abolition of children's factory labor in its present form, combination of education with industrial production. So as you can see, free education is already a part of the process in changing an economy from capitalism to central planning with communism. Socialism is just the stepping stone to communism, where all businesses are owned collectively through democratic process and shared production. Today, the term democratic socialism is used to describe a transition to socialism through current government structures. Democratic socialism is often preached by politicians like Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez because it is the application of Marxist planks as to income tax, inheritance, and centralization of state power over industry within the current political environment. Democratic socialists emphasize state intervention for giving employees more ownership rights in business by force, through regulations, compulsory shares, and unionization. So now that we have that background, let's see why compulsory public school is such an integral part of this process. Number 1. the suppression of individual initiative. The suppression of individual initiative is key to fostering socialism for collective action. As socialism rejects individual capacity to own capital, hire others, and set wages, all divergent thought must be eliminated if it does not fit within collective goals for a common plan. This can be seen in school, where young children have their individual interests, passions, and aspirations shut down in favor of central planning by the state for collective purposes. Children are told both directly and indirectly that their desires do not matter because collective mandate from the state must be prioritized. Children who do not obey are punished with shaming labels and are withheld from extracurricular activities and progress in their courses. Children's entrepreneurial drives are also shut down, as schools ban young people from selling goods and services to other children on school property save what is sanctioned by the school. Items brought in by children such as snacks and toys are also subject to confiscation by teachers, sometimes permanently. While some may say that this suppression mirrors the boss-employee relationship more, the reality is that schooling is closer to the socialist model precisely because there is no outlet for independent initiative and self-direction. The work is forced for collective supposed good, and children are told that they will be punished and considered worthless without receiving high marks for their total obedience. Schooling is a forced collective mandate to work for the stated greater collective good, like is proposed in socialism. Number 2, anti-free market propaganda. Schools routinely propagandize children to believe that markets are evil and that business owners are greedy and dangerous men who need to be reined in by the state lest there be unregulated free market capitalism. This propaganda comes in the form of civics class education textbooks, with glorification of past government action such as FDR's New Deal, and with radical environmentalism interwoven into class subjects. As public school teachers are government workers paid by taxes whose role is to control children's minds, most people who feel comfortable enough to remain in the system are themselves often democratic socialists or progressives. Increasingly, these teachers emphasize class struggle, preach a gospel of state salvation, and speak about the need for collectivism while ignoring the economics and violence of state action. Number 3. The psychology of forced community to push democratic socialism. Forced community is also a significant element in pushing democratic socialism. Because young people are forcibly congregated by age and told what role they will take, they are raised in an environment where they think that it is natural for them to be a cog in a collectivist schooling machine, obeying for the sake of praise in conformity. Like the actuality of socialism in practice, children are lied to and told that their thoughts and opinions matter in word, but in action they are denied all sense of autonomy. Children are also conned into thinking they have power by being given positions in student government and in student councils, so that they feel as if they have a say in the environment, while really being disenfranchised because they cannot meaningfully choose alternatives without being imprisoned, just like refusing to go along with majoritarian votes within democratic socialism. This collectivist psychology is so strong that, eventually, young people succumb to it and will even shame and bully their peers over grades and nonconformity, repeating the mantra that people who think school is ethically problematic are really just stupid themselves. As you can see, the nature of compulsory public schooling is to bring about a consensus that the state can ethically and effectively centrally plan the lives of people at large. When young people think it is acceptable to be controlled for their formative years, they more readily accept the idea that the state can ethically and effectively plan their lives as adults in nationalizing production. To break this mold, young people must be set free from the chains of collectivism, starting with forcible schooling practice. To learn what this setting free looks like, visit the Alliance for Self-Directed Education at www.self-directed.org. Thank you for watching and for supporting my work, and a special thank you to my fiduciaries, the Asian capitalists Zach Lakowski and Crawford K. McDonald of ECM Real Estate Group. To join my monthly live hangouts and to help choose the next video I produce, join my Patreon page at the Philosopher's Pho or Boba Tea level. See you soon!
Yes, freeze!